Welcome to HR Hero on Call. Today I'm having a career moment with Khululiwe Nxumalo. Khululiwe is an L&D and people development leader. She is a culture cultivator and she's also a marathon runner. Khululiwe, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. When someone introduces you, you almost think back like, oh, is that me?
This is you.
It is me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so before we start with unpacking your career and your experiences, I want us to break the ice and do temperature check.
Okay.
All right. So using weather conditions, how are you today?
I would say windy, but with a very sunny outlook. I mean, I'm here, so yeah. I would say.
Sun is good.
Yeah.
It's positive.
It's positive.
Yeah.
We do expect wins anyways. I mean, with not only the age, with where we are in life, wins, they make us. They do not break us. We look forward to them.
We look forward to them, yeah.
So, yeah, it is windy. And I take a lot from the wind, from the sways, the north, the south, But, yeah, there's a very sunny outlook.
Very
almost
sunny
like,
outlook.
a rainbow.
I see you.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were to be an animal, which animal would you be and why?
I would have to say a jaguar.
Oh, wow.
It's not the first time I've gotten that question, and it resonated with me, and I actually thought deeper about a jaguar. A jaguar has a very silent intensity, and where you find big cats, hunting in pride. Your jaguars are lone hunters.
Yeah.
Very versatile and very unique as well. And I also feel like I've got very unique skills. And as you know, a jaguar is a very good swimmer, like your other big cats. And if you take a look at me, like you mentioned, I'm a marathoner.
Yeah.
I'm 88
kgs,
at the moment. I'm 88 kgs.
Yeah.
But my last split for today was 5 minutes 58 seconds on my last kilometer, and not anyone would actually expect that. But this is just who I am. I've got versatility, and I think as we also go through the podcast, a lot of people will also understand that part about me, and it's something that you have to look deeper into for you to get into. Because also jaguars are very you don't always see them, find them, and people talking about them. So that's the reason
they're
why.
Special cats.
Very, very special cats. Very
yeah.
unique as well. So I always say that I would reference a jaguar if I had to take a look at my personality or choose to be an animal.
Yeah, I think you are. You are a cat.
Big cat.
Okay. So every morning when you wake up, what do you say to Khululiwe?
I love your question, Alihle, because it has changed in so many stages of my life, but now it is unto you, O Lord, or unto you, O God. And I think I love that I start my days like that now. For some people, it takes them to, later on in life where they surrender to the higher power.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the things that I've gone through, number one, has taken me to just now understanding I need to surrender to the higher power. It cannot be that I can do it all by myself. So that's the reason why every time I wake up, unto you, O Lord.
It's the grace.
Yes.
Yeah. For another day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, wow. What do I say after that? Okay. So let's now delve deeper into what you do as a learning and development manager or leader. For anybody looking or watching today, what would you say? What does your role entail? What do you do on a day-to-day?
I think thank you so much for addressing me as a learning and development leader, because much as I don't want to dwell into what I currently do in learning culture and learning your culture in the organization that I'm currently in, I'm a learning leader first. However, learning and development is an umbrella. Not everyone understands that. So when everyone talks learning and development, they always think it is a position and it's not. You know, from the learning and development umbrella, there are so many roles that are underneath it. And I guess the moment you get to understand what lies underneath that is how you know. I mean, is when you would know how you'd apply yourself. Number one, right?
That's a bit deep. Most people, we don't look at it that way. We don't actually unpack to say, what is a learning and development leader? We're just thinking, oh, the one that sends us for training and the ones that sends us to courses, succession plans and all of that. So can you just unpack it? It's interesting.
Yeah. Let me, you know, before I go into it, it's going to be very important that we go into the history so that anyone who also watches this gets to understand. You know, you have qualifications where you go to your varsity, which is your traditional learning ways and your methods, right?
Yeah.
And the whole reason why we have L&D in this day is because post 1990, we must always remember we did not have any structure when it came to organizational training. It was more or less, if I had to give you an example, let me take you to a construction, right? What's going to happen in a construction is that you know that you've got a project and then there's different areas and spaces, but the people who do the best work are the people who didn't actually go study what they need to do, number one, right? So what then people used to do post 1990 is that you would tell the person directly, this is what I need you to do and this is how much of time that you need to do it, and I'm going to come back. That would be a yard foreman. I'm going to come back and then I'm going to assess you on it. And when they come back, you'll find that some people did it perfectly. And some people actually did the worst. They didn't even know what to do and how to go about it. And then it actually came into the government's, a sort of perspective that there's something that needs to be done in order for us to cater for the people who didn't actually get a chance to go to school. So what then? So then occupationally directed education was then introduced in 1990, which is ODETDP. So that is a qualification number one that one has to get in order to get into the learning and development umbrella. That's number one. Going back to ODETDP, right? So it is an occupational directed education training practices. So under that, you have got organizational development designing of material. You have got skills development facilitation. We have got facilitation itself. We've got moderation. And then we've also got coaching. So if you take a look at just the 5 spectrums that I've actually taken you into, it has its own qualifications that can be done as a separate modules. But if you actually take up OD, as a whole qualification, then you can actually take up or maybe head up the learning and development or maybe training and development role. But you would actually not make a quality leader in that. Why? If you take a look at all of those that I've just mentioned now, you need to understand what happens in this stage, what happens in the next stage, and then how do you get to the next? Because if you miss those opportunities, Lihle, what's going to happen is when you make a decision, when you're high up there as a leader, there are things you're not going to understand. Why would you take such decisions at that level? I don't know if you understand.
I hear you. So we're looking at, in terms of the 5, we're looking at both functionally and strategic leadership roles, right?
100%.
So functionally would then be the designing part of the training material and all of that. But from a strategic point of view, where would you?
We then go into your coaching. We then go into your SDF, which is your skills development facilitation. We then go into people, the coaching part. You know, those layers go afterwards, but then the ones that actually are build up is you facilitating using the different methodologies. If you take a look at my example that I use, I need to understand how to train a Dinhle. I need to understand how to train a Sanele.
But why would you train me? What first do you do in order to know that I need that particular training?
a needs analysis,
Thank
number
you.
one. When you go into a business, and I like the question, why would you train me? When you go into a business, the only reason why you would be employed, especially as a leader in learning and development, is for you to assist that organization, particularly on a certain skill that they need to develop,
Of course.
maintain, or take their learners through for the future. But where does it start? It starts from the base. Where am I now? Meaning, I've got a restaurant and this is what I serve. So therefore, this is what I need my person to know, understand and learn. And then also taking it forward, this is what I need them to do in the future.
Yes.
So what do you then do? You start that actual development of that training. What does it look like? And how is it going to be facilitated? And how is the person going to learn? Is it actually going to be something that's practical, for lack of a better word, in our environment? Or do I need to take them outside? That's when you're moving away from the OD. You are actually now getting them a qualification outside of work.
So I just want to say, with regards to that, for people to just have an understanding when we talk about training needs analysis, it doesn't come from anywhere. So in terms of our environment, the people and culture space, it's informed by something. And what is that something? So we assess performance on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis. So the data that comes, the data insights that come from performance management and appraisals, that's what informs the gaps. That Khule's got certain gaps here, and how do we address the gaps? And that's where then you would come in and say, in terms of the gaps, this is the training then that Joyce needs, and then we take it from there. But it's different. Also, you can come in besides the performance and say, based on the requirements of the role, this is where Joyce is, and these are the gaps, and how do we then move forward from there? I just wanted to clarify that that it's informed by something. Yeah,
no, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So for you to be a learning and people development manager, do I need to be qualified for anything at all, or I can just have a undergraduate diploma in anything?
It's not a one size fits all. There are situations or instances where you can be a learning and development manager, starting off having no qualifications, but integrating into it. And what would actually take you there is your passion for the people, your passion for actually training, and you having a necessary skill. Let's say you've been in operations for 10 years. You understand the operation, so therefore it makes it easier for you to actually facilitate the skill. So the very first thing is that they now look at the layers of, as I explained, the ODE, TDP, which one is the best one for you to actually do first. And then from there, how long is it going to take you until you actually gain that actual strength in actually now being the learning and development leader, right? Because I'm assuming that some people already have necessary qualifications. Let's say you're a project manager already, but then you want to branch into L&D, right? So you get in and then you start off with your qualification, which wouldn't take you more than 3 years to actually accomplish. Because as we know, in learning and development, the qualification only ends at this current stage to a level 6, a diploma. And then later on, if you want to make it into a bigger level, because as you know, in our industry, in order for you to actually train and take up a certain skill, you need to actually be a skill higher. So in an organization, let's say of engineers, where they're already a level 9, you need to be a level 10. So therefore, those are the things, it's almost like a checkbox that you already need to have in place. So in order for you, if let's say you want to enter into the organization, yes, OD, which is the organizational development qualification, you start with the very important one, which is the certificates. If you don't have that, you are going to miss the basics, because what I mentioned to you, remember the 5 the ones that I mentioned to you, it's on the certificates. And then when you build on it, then you do your diploma, and then later on you go into either a BTEC in ETD, or you can then do your degree in human resource management, and then you can do later on, depending on your role and what your impetus is for education. Your leaders in learning usually do your women in leadership MBA, something that I'm actually now cleaning up my plate to go into, because I don't want to go into it without clear head and still having things that have not been accomplished or ticked off. So one of those things. So
it's very interesting interesting. I mean, from what you're saying and how you're selling it, it looks like in terms of career pathing, there's options.
A lot of options.
There's options. It's not just a training manager as an option to say you can design, you can go into the OD route, you can go strategically. But now you're making waves in retail. You move from tourism now to retail. You're making waves.
Yes.
You're opening a branch every single day. Talk to us about that.
I think, I've been very, very fortunate to make a decision at the right time. I moved from, I don't want to mention a brand,
Yes.
but from my previous employer, head office, I was solely focused on people, human resource development solely for the head
Yes.
office. And then I spent a year and 3 months in that role.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, but then there wasn't much that I had not done that I was doing in that role. So I felt like I'm doing the same thing. But then when an opportunity came about with my current employer, it was learning and development manager at first as I started, right?
Traditional. Learning and development manager.
But when I got in, it wasn't as traditional as I thought. As you mentioned, it's retail. I've never been to retail before, right?
Yeah.
And I love it. I loved it because I've got passion and I've still got the impetus to actually learn new things. And then I'm starting to localize things because they are globally north, right? My head office is in Seattle, and now I applied myself to that, and then I got to explore my versatility to the outside group and within, and they after 3 months then got promoted to head of people culture, and then learning, which actually ticks all the boxes, and doing new openings. I take my experience from operations into application with people. Lindsay, let me tell you, I spent 6 years of my life just dealing with people at a forefront level where I did facilitation, I did assessments, I did moderation. So when it comes to understanding people and understanding what their needs are, that was the best place for me to be at, because it took me to different areas of how you understand people. I also dealt with people from the rural areas, and now I actually get to apply it. We've got 76 stores, and it's a global entity. And I've worked outside of the country, so it makes it easy for me to understand. But I want the next person to also understand that it brings light to my life that I'm doing something that I can actually see a future best from anyone that I impart my own knowledge to, one, and also I can also live as a card that shows a person that you can start off from this level to get to that level and then get to a level that I'm at. And it's not something that's so unique that people need to think of it as something so huge or so big that it's not doable, for lack of a better word.
You're doing very well.
Thank you.
Doing very well.
Thank you.
So how did you get there? What did you have to we spoke about career pathing. Did you have any support, or did you know exactly what you needed to do in order to get to the level where you are, or it was just pure luck?
Much as I don't believe in luck, I think there are some places where you place it as grace.
It's grace.
This is where you're going to have to give me. I'm not going to take too long, but you have to understand. And in order for you to understand it, you need to now understand the history. You know, I think I heard DJ Sbu saying books before boys and whatever. I don't know what it is. I did it the other way around.
Okay.
Babies
Boys and then
before
books.
babies before books.
Yeah.
I was 17 when I had my first daughter,
Yes.
Dintle, and already it took away the traditionality of you finishing up school. I was in matric.
Yes.
You finish school, you go to varsity. Those were scrapped.
Yes.
Right? And had my daughter. I had to go look for a job when she was 6 months.
I remember.
I was fortunate to get a job as a bartender. Funny enough, I'm working for a coffee company now. My first job was a bartender.
Barista.
I was a barista. I was a barista. I made lots of tips, guys.
We started somewhere.
We started somewhere. From that, I am a product of the CETAs, because I did my first learnership with Cat CETA, but then it wasn't Cat CETA. I'm not so sure if you'd remember. I've actually forgotten what they were called, but it wasn't Cat CETA.
It wasn't Cat CETA.
I think sports were not added at the time. I can't really remember what it was.
Let's just say it was CETA.
It was CETA.
Yeah.
I did my
sector education training.
authorities.
That's what it means.
Yes, yes. I like when you clarify. Anyone else who comes in will have an understanding.
Yeah, we need to understand.
You need to understand. So got mine because remember now I've got a child. She needs money. So the first year I did my learnership. I did finish it, but then something behind in the back of my mind, I knew that I needed to study. I then enrolled with UNISA. Funny enough, I did social work. I didn't complete it. I didn't. Thank God I didn't.
Yeah.
I did it for 2 years. I dropped out.
Yeah.
And why I dropped out was not because I didn't have the money. I was making lots of money where I was. But I think I did my bartending for a year one. And then on year two, I always moved. Trust me, I moved those ladders. I was already a supervisor. I was a Krakatoa supervisor at Sibaya Casino, right? And then from that, I was promoted to an MVG lounge supervisor.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm thinking, I'm doing social work. I already got 3 years experience. I'm already now a supervisor. So meaning I'm already, looking into, building where I already am,
Yes.
And then I had to change and then dropped off. And then
you became an HR officer.
I didn't, just before I became that, the training officer, which was still within that, I became a manager at A2A, Africa to Asia restaurant, right? I became a manager then. And then I realized, no. Then it means we are hospitality.
Yeah.
Did hospitality management. But then when I started, I did it as a higher certificate. But then later on, when I registered for hospitality management, I did a 3-year diploma, which was then certified with AHLEI. That takes longer. People wouldn't understand. And it takes a bit longer. We'll move from that one. Yeah. And then from that qualification, then I started focusing on training because I was appointed by the training manager. She said, I want you to do my training. Yeah. So I love your personality. Come, I want to test you out. She tested me out. She said, come do my trainings. And then I became training officer.
Yeah.
Very quickly from that, I moved to overseas. I joined Crown and Champa Resorts. I did corporate training. And then from there, that was just the genesis of training.
So training.
Yeah, training has just
DNA.
It's just in my DNA.
Yeah.
It calls me, I call it. I almost went out of it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago. I went into key accounts management. That's the reason why I did communication science.
But you always go back because it's in your DNA and you love it.
Did communication science because I wanted to go into sales. And then I actually did sales for 6 months. I did key accounts management. But then I realized, no. Much as I thought it would work, it's not in me. It's not in my DNA. And then I went back into training. And that's the reason why you find that I'm still in that space. So as I said, Dinhle, I always say that, it takes the history for you to understand how I got into it. A lot of grace, which you call luck, but then also at the same time, I just feel like it is a calling because it's always just called me back to training. I try to move away from it and then I'm there. So it's hospitality management. I did my ODETD, P, and then communication science, and now looking forward to doing my women in leadership with Gibbs.
Okay. Great. So we did, when you talk about women in leadership, we did a pilot there in that company where we were still in the tourism sector. Unfortunately, I didn't see it through, but what we did was to ensure that when you do the employment equity reporting and then you analyze the data, because the data must speak to you, and then you find that you've got a lot of female in the organization versus the males, but you don't see them in middle management and senior management positions. So what we then did was to zoom deep and understand where are these women. And then we found that these women are at the lower level positions, and the questions then start to ask, why are they at the lower level positions? And then we find it's a skills issue. Then it became a question to say, how do we address the skills? And then we said, let's start from the top, because there needs to be a feed up to the senior management so that there's no gap in terms of succession planning. So we then decided to enroll them in partnership with Henley Business School on an NQF level 7 to do a management program that will make sure that we provide them with necessary skills, and because the experience then they have so that when future opportunities become available, then they are promotable.
Yeah.
So I love that thing, the Women in Leadership project. It's a passion of mine, and I know you're passionate about it. But anyway, where you getting to? Where are you going from here? Where are you going from here? One, and also, what would you advise the people that want to get into the people and culture learning and development space? What would you say to them?
Where to from here is director and leadership.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's where the direction is. Advice for people who want to get into is always just sense check. How deep is your passion for people and change?
Yeah.
Yeah. Much as we want to think about people and passion, and we think it's only a feeling, you need to make an impact. So do you have the impetus for that? There is challenges along the way. Change is so constant that you sometimes you deeply think to yourself, is this for me? And it's just change,
Yeah.
So you need to be very strong. Remove the emotions where you are currently, because you're not going to need
Of
it.
course.
The more you have it, it just is already a telltale sign of how hard it's going to be as you get to the top. So think more, feel less, and believe in yourself. And I'm Christian, but I don't always want to impose that on anyone. But I've seen that with the people that I have around me as well, there has to be that higher power, because there are spaces and times where you just don't know what you know, just because of what's going on around you. So always have that. And very importantly, build a very strong and nurture that network. You are going to need it.
Wow.
So it needs to be deep connections
Yes.
that you make.
Yeah.
Make sure that it's strong.
Genuine
and
connections.
you be a genuine connector yourself
Yeah.
before you expect it from anyone. And live to your truest form. And that's just how I guess you just be successful altogether.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it works out. in the
Wow.
end. It does.
Such a great, insightful advice. Okay, so now let's talk legacy. How would you want to be remembered?
I'm not going to look into a song, but the truth about it is that how many people's lives have I impacted? I've calculated so far. I'm 38 years old. I'm not ashamed to say my age, but I can proudly say I've impacted already 15 people's lives with not only jobs, but also sustainability in their careers, and seen them through it. We still have a connection. So I don't have a number, because I don't want to limit myself, but I'm all about change. So the legacy is, how many people's lives can I impact, will I impact before my time comes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make a difference.
Yeah. It's to make a difference.
Wow, that's so profound. Thank you. So you are a marathon runner, the whole marathon runner.
Yes. By default, you guys, I struggle with my weight. I do. On
No,
my
you don't.
Instagram.
No, you don't. Don't
I
lie
do,
to the people.
my goodness. I have been going up and down. I started at 107 kg, and then I went to 85. I went to 75. Now I'm on 88 kg. So I do run. I'm a marathon runner. I am. I'm training currently for my Sanlam Cape Town Marathon.
Oh,
it's
wow.
the third one.
It's the third one,
So
yeah.
and I want to do very well for this one. So it's become such a beautiful thing in my life and space because of the people I meet. So
Yeah.
it's not even about me losing weight anymore. It's about the community that I've built, and how beautiful it has become. It has become a part of my life.
It's become part of your life because
Yeah.
you're consistent week in, week out.
Week out, it is.
Yeah. And that's how you balance it out, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not
Okay.
only about the pain, it's about the laughs.
It's about the
and
love, it's
the
it.
meeting of the people, and the coffee.
And the
afterwards.
coffee afterwards? Okay. So,
So, yeah.
Khululiwe,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing this career moment with us.
Thank you. And thank you so much, guys. And also for giving me the time. I speak for a living, so I almost took your spots there, I know. So, trust me.
Yeah, she does.
I speak for
She
a
does.
living. I get paid to speak.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, guys, for having me. Yeah.
Okay. to another episode of HR Hero on Call. I was speaking to Khululiwe. Khululiwe is a learning and development manager. Thank you for watching.